In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make $10,000 a month in profit with Amazon Wholesale in 2025. This is a full-length Amazon Wholesale course for completely free. And this is the exact process that I've used to do over $8 million in sales on Amazon by the time I'm only 22 years old. And it's the same system I've used to help my clients like Miguel hit $90,000 in revenue in just 2 months. And my other client, Michael, generate about $15,000 in his first month. This isn't going to be your basic how to sell on Amazon video with a bunch of theoretical bullcrap. I'm going to actually be showing you exactly how to build a profitable Amazon wholesale business from complete scratch, 0 to 10K a month in monthly profit. So you can finally have the time and financial freedom you've been looking for. This video will show you the exact step-by-step process you need to follow so you never have to watch another video on Amazon Wholesale again. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Started when I was 17 years old at $250 to my name, and I'm going to give you everything, the whole system, all my strategies, all my mistakes, so you don't make them completely free. So let's get into it. All right, you guys, so before we dive into the actual step-by-step process, let me quickly explain what Amazon Wholesale is actually, because a lot of people get this confused with other business models. Amazon Wholesale is where we buy brand name products from authorized distributors or directly from the brands themselves at wholesale costs. So we're buying in bulk, getting wholesale pricing, and then we send those products to Amazon fulfillment centers through their FBA program, Fulfillment by Amazon. And we sell them on their existing listings for retail price. So we're not creating our own products, we're not doing private label, we're not building our own brand or anything like that. We're literally just piggybacking off these established brands that have already spent thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even $1 million in marketing and advertising to build up the demands for their products on Amazon. And then we just supply that demand and make our profit in the middle. It's buy low, sell high, the oldest business model in the world, right? We're just doing it online now. We typically see around 20 to 30% ROI, which when you're churning inventory every 30 days or so, compounds very quickly. And that's how you're gonna be able to get to that 10K a month in monthly profit mark. Now, this business has generated me over $8 million in revenue in the last 5 years, and more importantly, it's given me complete time and location freedom. I work maybe 5 hours a week maintaining my business now because everything is so systemized. Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the actual step-by-step process. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna start up with actual, the legal entity side of things, seller's permit, EIN, and obviously your LLC. So we're gonna go to this website right here, bizze.com, B-I-Z-Z-E-E.com. And then you're going to pick entity, click LLC, select your state, whatever state you're in. I'm in California, so I click California, and then you're gonna click Start My Business. Now from here, instead of doing and paying for the standard or premium packages, we're gonna be paying for just the basic package and just paying your state fee, okay? You don't need any of this bull crap. You could buy it all for a much cheaper price, right? And so click Get Started right here. Now LLC name, you're gonna wanna do something like, just say TK because that's my initials, distribution. Okay, we're gonna do TK Distribution LLC. Just do something along these lines. You don't wanna say like online sales or anything like that. You just wanna put like distribution, wholesale, enterprises, something like that. Okay, so this is good right here, TK Distribution LLC. And then you're going to, obviously, if you're a single member LLC, just click this one, which says selected 99% of the time for a reason. Or if not, if you have multiple people in the LLC, you're gonna do this one, managed by more than one manager, but click next. Now from here, the only thing you're really gonna pay for is this state filing time. Bizze's gonna try and upsell you a lot on a lot of different things, but the state filing time is really the only thing you need to pay for. That way, instead of waiting 4 weeks and delaying the entire process in business, you're only waiting 3 days, which is $50. So if you don't have $50, click off the video. But from here, obviously, it's very simple. You're going to just put your contact information, and then from there on out, it's going to ask you very simple questions, and just supply those answers and you'll be good from there, okay? So it's not very complicated whatsoever. But once you're done with the whole LLC setup with Bizze, you're now going to go to Google and type in EIN IRS. And so what an EIN is, it's Employer Identification Number, which basically means it's your social security number for your business. Okay, so you're gonna go to this first link right here, irs.gov website, scroll all the way down, click apply for an EIN, begin application now. You're gonna do LLC. Okay, how many members? 1. California is the state that it's located in for me. Okay, and then started a new business, continue. And then from here, very simple, again, you're putting in your personal information and you're gonna go from there, okay? I am the owner of managing member of this LLC. Then you're gonna put in your address, some additional details, review and submit, and then you get your EIN number electronically. And so it typically happens instantly. Okay, so this is very simple yet again. And once you're done with that, we need to obtain a seller's permit. So you're going to go to your state website. So whatever state you're in, just type in your state right here and then seller's permit right after it. So for me, California again, California seller's permit. You're gonna go to the state website right here. We're going to scroll, how do I apply for a permit? Register online for a permit. And then we're going to register for a permit right there. Register a new business activity. I'm the owner of the business. Next, ownership chain access. Click no, next, and boom. Again, very simple information. Again, going over your personal and LLC information. And so from here, it's very straightforward. If there's any questions or roadblocks you run into, literally just ask ChatGPT, like take a screenshot of whatever question it is, ask ChatGPT and it'll tell you. Give it some context, like say, I'm applying for a new seller's permit in X, Y, and Z state. I just made a LLC, I have an EIN, and then give it the screenshot and say, how do I get past this, or what's the answer to this problem? Utilize ChatGPT. It's very helpful and smarter than you are, and me, obviously, because I'm no genius either. But from there, that's pretty much it when it comes down to the legal side of things and the documents you need. You're gonna go to busy.com, get your LLC all set up. You're gonna go to the irs.gov website to get your EIN number, and then you're gonna go to your state website to get your seller's permit. Okay, so that's step number one. Next, you need to actually get your Amazon seller account. So you're gonna go to sell.amazon.com. You're gonna be greeted with this little landing page right here. You're gonna click sign up, and then from here, I mean, I already have an account, so I can't like physically show you guys how to create a brand new account because it doesn't let me. But basically what's gonna happen is gonna be very simple questions and information. You're gonna sign up with your new LLC, your new EIN number that you literally just got, like I showed you in step number one of the video. But once you put all that information in, you're gonna put in your address. But from there, what's really going to happen is there's going to be, I believe, 3 or 4 questions that are yes or no questions that you won't know the answer to. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the answers to all those questions is no. Just click no on all 4 or 3 of those questions, however many it is. And then from there, Amazon's going to take about 2 business days or so to actually verify all the information you gave them and approve your account or request more information about your LLC or your address verification, whatever it is. But it's pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple to do. So I can't go too much more in depth about that because there's not much to go in depth about. But very simple. That's obviously step number 2 is getting your Amazon seller account. So we'll move on to step number 3 now. Okay, now this is crucial. You need to get a prep center before you actually start doing outreach to these wholesale suppliers. A prep center is basically a third-party warehouse that receives your inventory from your supplier and preps it according to Amazon's requirements and sends it to their fulfillment centers on your behalf. So this has 2 major benefits. One, obviously, being you never have to touch or you see your physical inventory. And number 2 being you actually have now a commercial warehouse address to use on your wholesale applications when reaching out, trying to open up wholesale accounts with these big distributors. They're gonna wanna see an actual warehouse, legit business address instead of just, your home address. They're not gonna take you serious or open that account. So to actually find a good prep center to partner with, you're gonna go to this website right here, prepcenter.com, okay? Click find a prep center. Now, once this loads, we're gonna click filters, and then we're going to do accepting clients, yes, liftgate required, no, max turnaround time within 48 hours, okay? Now click out of there, and boom, here's all the results on the right side, or you could just search by the map part, right? And so the location isn't necessarily too important of where your prep center is located. I mean, I'd say it's more convenient if your prep center was located in your same time zone. That way, there's no time difference when dealing or trying to communicate with your prep center, right? So if you are in tea time in California like me, and it's, let's say 2 p.m. in California time, but your prep center is all the way on the East Coast and it's 5 p.m. East Coast time, like EST time, then obviously they're gonna be closed at 5, but it's only 2 for us. So it's a little inconvenient. So just take that into account when looking for an actual prep center to partner with. But I'll show you an example of a good prep center. So let's try and look for one. We'll look at Hex Prep right here. So we're gonna click on Hex Prep, and then what we wanna see, 24 to 48 hour turnaround time, good, liftgate not required for pallet shipments. Basically meaning if a liftgate is not required, this this prep center has a legitimate warehouse with a real dock that a 53-foot semi-truck trailer can actually back up into and offload all the pallets into their warehouse. So that's really good. You always want to be on the lookout for fake reviews on prepcenter.com because you could cheat the system. So if you see like bulk amount of reviews all imported on the same day, that's usually a red flag. But for example, there's only 2 on the same day here, which isn't the end of the world. The 18th, 17th, 16, 10, 9, 5, 6, the 3rd. So these look somewhat legit for the most part. So now we're going to click visit website, and we want to verify the website looks legit and everything like that. This is a good looking website. We can see everything they offer, some more testimonials, whether those are real or fake, who knows. But we're going to come to pricing next because that's an important part to this. Prep services pricing, wholesale and private label prep services right here. We can see 0 to 1,000 units a month is $1 per unit, which is good pricing. And then 1,000 units plus, you get down to 70 cents per unit, which is fantastic pricing, okay? And you can see it includes all the normal prep, FNSKU labeling, and poly bagging, which is fantastic. Okay, so this is great pricing. You really shouldn't be paying anything more than $1.25 per unit for normal wholesale prep. Anything more than that is egregious, and you could find better prep centers for cheaper. Okay, so now what we're going to do from here is, now that we verified all of this, we're going to want to verify their address, right? And so I'm not sure which one's their main location, but we're just going to search their address on Google just to see and verify that's actually a legitimate warehouse, okay? So we're gonna click here on Street View, pull up the Google Maps thing, and boom, we can see these are warehouse locations, commercial addresses. It's not like a house or something weird like that, which is a good sign because obviously, trucks can come drop off and deliver pallets of inventory to these warehouses, right? And so this is a good sign. If it was a house or something like that, that's obviously not a good sign. Don't work with someone who doesn't actually have a legitimate warehouse. So that's one way to verify. Next is just typing in HexPrep into Google and seeing if they have a Google My Business profile, which would pop up right here. Doesn't look like they have one, but we could check X and see what's going on here. And so, okay, yeah, this looks like the same picture and image area we saw on the maps, and we can see pallets coming in and out. So that's a good sign, right? So I wouldn't be too worried. I think this is a legit prep center, all good here. And so obviously the next step is just reaching out to them and getting in touch to partner with them, right? And so from there, basically what you're gonna say is, hey, I'm a new wholesale company on Amazon. I was looking to partner up with a prep center for the long term and growth of my business. At the start, we're probably going to start by sending in 300 to 500 units a month, only really needing FNSKU and occasional poly bag and bundling. And from there, they're going to tell you how they work, their benefits, everything like that, how you guys will work together. And the main thing is you just want to make sure that the prep center is actually communicative, or yeah, I think that's the word, communicative with you, and doesn't take forever to reply, because you don't want someone who's going to take forever to reply. So that's how you're actually going to find and verify a legitimate prep center for your wholesale business. All right, so this is where the real work begins. Finding wholesale distributors is the hardest part of the business, hands down, but it's also where you make your money. So this is the most important part. So pay attention right here. So one of the easiest and best methods to go about finding profitable wholesale suppliers and distributors to work with is just go on Google and then search in either a brand or a niche. So for example, we'll do nutrition niche, right? And then wholesale distributors right after that. And if you want to, start to change up your results, start putting in different cities and locations. So for example, large port cities like Miami, New Jersey, Los Angeles, places like that. And so you can literally just search up large port cities on Google if you don't know what large port cities are, but that will start to kind of differentiate some of your results if you're going through and you ran through all of them already, right? And so now we're going to always skip all the sponsored listings because those are never good. And we're going to come down to the first one, Muscle Foods USA. Let's open all these in new tabs. Sport Life Distribution, Nutrition Wholesalers, Sports Nutrition Distributors, Contour Market, and we'll do Nutri Cost Wholesale. Okay, so we're gonna start with these 5 or 6, however many I opened. So Muscle Foods USA. These are, we could see all their locations right here. We see the brands that they carry right here, which is obviously name brand products that people already know, like, and trust. We see the become a customer or become a vendor, right? We want to become a customer because being a vendor basically means that you are a brand supplying to the distributor, right? And so from here, what we want to do is to verify a wholesale distributor is just search their address on Google and see what comes up, right? So we'll start with this Texas location here. So we're going to copy this address, paste it into Google, and we're going to see what pops up. And so right away we could see their Google My Business profile pops up, Muscle Foods USA, which is a great sign. We're going to see outside, and we want to verify that's actually, you know, a legitimate warehouse and commercial address, right? And so we could see that these, oh, perfect. We can see right out here, 2 employees with their Muscle Foods USA shirts on. And if you could see right past this employee, it says Muscle Foods USA on the literal like door. And so we can see that right there, and that's a dead giveaway that they actually are legitimate and have their own warehouse address. They have their own space, obviously, because they have their business logo on the actual location. And that's, you know, always a great sign, and know that we're off to a great start, because if they don't have a legitimate warehouse or commercial address and it's like some sort of house or sketchy area like that, it's not really a great sign that they're going to be, you know, an authorized distributor of, you know, any real name brand products. So we are good on this front with warehouse address. We can see 4, you know, good Google reviews, which, you know, isn't the end of the world or big tell, but it doesn't hurt, right, to check that out. So we could also see that they have a LinkedIn profile. And so most of the time when they have a legitimate LinkedIn profile, it's always a great sign that they're a legit, you know, authorized distributor of such. And so we see they have 3,000 followers, and it says between 51 to 200 employees, which is a good thing, obviously. And so now we could also verify a few things here. They have 95 associated members, which is good, basically meaning 95 people have LinkedIn profiles that claim that they work at Muscle Foods USA. So that's, you can't fake that. For the most part, you can't fake that. Now, another way of finding distributors is by going to pages people also viewed. People charge a lot of money for this information, but this, again, completely free. So all I ask is that you just like and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. But pages people also viewed, click show all. And we can see right here, Europa Sports Partner, Wholesale, another Wholesale, Lone Star Distribution, another wholesale company, DNA Sports Nutrition Distribution, another wholesale company, Sport Life Distribution, another one, NYB Distributors, another one. There's just so many more resorts. Sport Life Distribution, another one. So there's so many more results that are basically showing their top competitors to Muscle Foods USA. And so obviously they're nutrition and supplement distributors. And so this is another way to find and source, you know, authorized, profitable wholesale distributors. So that's another pro tip right there. But we just verified for the most part that this is a legitimate wholesale distributor. Now we could click explore just to check out things a little further. Click on brands, and we can see all the brands that they carry: Alphaline, AG1, BPN, Bear Bells, Black Magic, Bloom Nutrition, like so many name brand products that people already know, like, and trust, that we could potentially sell profitably on Amazon. And so this is great, all good right here. We're gonna go back, and now basically you have the Become a Customer catalog, or Become a Customer section right here. So application for new account, everything like that. But before we get into how to properly apply, we want to go through some more examples of, you know, good and bad distributors. So Sport Life Distribution, yet again, let's check them out. We want to, you know, see what they carry. We could see, you know, bestsellers, Gorilla, whatever this is, High Tech, I've heard of this. Jocko Powder, I've heard of. These are all, you know, name brand products. EFX, I've heard of. Mutant Mass, Extend, Dimetize, like all name brand products that people already know, like, and trust. They say approved national distributors of these brands or of these, you know, businesses like Planet Fitness, Gold's Gym, all that kind of stuff, which is a good sign. And let's try and find some sort of address for them. Become a customer, no. Let's do about Sport Life, see if they have an address. Okay, freight shipping damages, no. Okay, so we can't find an address right off the bat for Sport Life Distribution, but what we'll do is just type it into Google, Sport Life Distribution, paste, and then we're going to see right here, perfect. We see their Google My Business profile, more 18 5-star reviews. See outside yet again. Okay, now this is, you know, it doesn't seem to be the greatest of areas. It looks like, you know, interesting buildings right here, but clearly states Sport Life Distribution all on this commercial building right here with a big dock for, you know, trucks and trailers to pull up to and drop off the pallet shipments to. So it doesn't get more clear than this, right? It's very clear that Sport Life Distribution is a legitimate distributor and they are operating out of this warehouse location right here, which is a great sign, okay? So, and we could also see they have a LinkedIn profile again right here with 11 to 50 employees, 379 followers. And then if we go back, we could see, you know, a Facebook page with them, 282 followers. So all good signs right here, okay? And so this is another that I know personally from my experience, a legitimate authorized wholesale distributor. And if you are ever caught up and have no idea how to tell, you know, the easiest thing would just be to call one of the brands. Okay, so let's take Alani Nu for example. You would basically just call up like the customer service line on Alani Nu and say, hey, I'm a retailer in X, Y, and Z area or location. I was looking to purchase your brand from Sport Life Distribution, as they say they're an authorized distributor of your brand. Is this true? If not, can you give me a list of your actual authorized distributors? And so that'll be a dead giveaway right there. The brand will literally tell you if they, you know, recognize Sport Life Distribution as an authorized distributor or not, okay? And then if not, obviously you don't buy from them. So we're done with these two. Let's check this one now, nutritionwholesalers.com. Okay, so right off the bat, we can see, you know, more name brand products, which is good. But a red flag is that they have prices right underneath, $39.95, $52.95, $39.95. So it's always, for the most part, a red flag if they're giving out, you know, pricing at the start and just, you know, for anyone to see on the website. Even worse is if they have an add to cart and buy it now section, because they should be verifying that you're an actual business to do business with their business before they actually let you see pricing or even attempt to make a purchase with them, right? And so obviously this looks more so just like a online retailer, which obviously we do not work with. We work with only authorized distributors. So this right away is a bust because you can literally just add them to the cart and buy it, which, you know, is not wholesale, right? So this is just not good. And then we have sports nutrition distributors. I mean, we can see by the video here, they already look very legit. They show their warehouse. You can see their employees with their literally the logo on their polo shirts and everything like that. This is very hard. You can't fake this shit, okay? So this, I mean, look at the logo. This right away is a clear indicator that they are legitimate authorized distributors. You don't really have to do too much more digging here. So I want to give an example of a bad one, okay? And so here we have Kantar Market, another one. They just give you pricing right off the bat. You can add to cart and just purchase right away. So this is not wholesale. This is some sort of retailer of some sorts. Just because they say wholesale doesn't mean they're actual wholesale, right? Like Costco is a wholesaler, but they don't actually, you know, do technically B2B distribution. So Kantar Market's a no. NutriCost Wholesale. NutriCost, I'm pretty sure, is just like a private label brand here. And they already sell their own stuff on Amazon. So this is more so like a brand direct wholesale account that you would get, but there's no point because they already sell themselves on Amazon. So we're done with that. But yeah, this is how you find and source, you know, actual authorized distributors. I'll give you an example of Nation Distributors, I think it is. I'll give you an example of a not legit and scam wholesale supplier. Okay, so Nation Distributor right here is a scam. Basically, any wholesale supplier that has Telegram or WhatsApp chats or anything like that, or they're trying to hand you products or deals on a silver platter, is not good, okay? Anything that's too good to be true in this business, for the most part, 99% of the time, is too good to be true, okay? And so anyone that is advertising towards Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers in any way, shape, or form is always not going to be legit. So as we can see right here, Amazon FBA supplier, okay? They're already advertising towards Amazon sellers. We see e-commerce. Let's see what else we could find. Amazon FBA. I mean, that's a dead giveaway right there, right? So they're advertising towards e-commerce sellers and Amazon FBA. So straight away, no go. I mean, their website already kind of looks like a scam. Like this is clearly fake reviews and everything like that. Just because they carry products doesn't really mean too much, right? Because anyone can make a fake website and list, you know, name brand products that's saying they carry them, right? And so this right away is a scam. Another way to tell is by going to Trustpilot, right? So you go to Trustpilot right here and verify. It says Nation Distributor right here. It's clearly the same one. And then don't be fooled by fake reviews on Trustpilot. It's pretty easy to make fake reviews. You could kind of tell when someone sounds fake. So look at Roger. This company does not exist. I want to make you aware, we were scammed by these individuals. We lost more than $5,000, and they stopped answering our calls and emails. They are criminals, and profiles giving them good reviews are all fake. Okay. We even contacted the owners of the warehouses where they claim to be located, and they confirm that these are multiple complaints against them. Do not be deceived. Okay. Clear as day. Don't be deceived by all these fake reviews. Again, more. Look at scam. Where is it? Complete scam. They took your deposit, never fill your order. Beware of nation distributor. Blah blah blah. Okay. Took all your money, and then you could just read on and on about how bad they are. Scammed for $11,300. Right. So again, very very good indicator right there, just by searching nation distributor, or just search the distributor on Google and then type in reviews or scam or anything, or just Trustpilot, anything like that, to check for legitimate reviews. Okay, so that's how you actually source and verify whether it is legitimate or not. Hello. Now, when you're actually reaching out to these wholesale distributors, you need to actually position yourself properly. One thing you never want to do is tell them you're an Amazon seller. Never ever tell them you're an Amazon seller. Amazon sellers in this industry have a notorious bad rap, thanks to all the course gurus and people selling shit courses, trying to sell a get rich quick scheme or things like that. And these people don't actually treat it as a real business. So that's why you don't have, you should never position yourself as an Amazon seller, because we have such a bad rep because of said course sellers and all that kind of bullshit, right? People who don't actually treat this like a real business. Now instead, you need to actually position yourself as a retail and distribution business. And here is the exact script I've used to open hundreds of different wholesale accounts. Okay, so subject line is going to be new dealer inquiry. Dealer is just a term in the wholesale space, so when you use dealer, they tend to know that you have some sort of idea that you know what you're doing. Okay, and then just literally copy and paste this script. Take a screenshot of it right now, but you could read here. I don't have to read it all for you. I'm sure everyone here has grown to read. So sometimes they won't have a application beforehand when reaching out to them over email, or if you do something like this, but sometimes they will have an application. You could click become a customer, and then you could just go down this route. But they don't even have an application still when you click become a customer anyways. So just put all your information, and then for the message part, use our script right here, and just take out the find our completed application. Just provide your resale tax. You can't even provide that either. So just take out this entire part, because you can't provide any of that. And so they'll reach out to you once you respond to this and ask for those informations, obviously. Okay, so use this script, and then instead of using a normal Gmail account like everyone else, like thomas@gmail.com, obviously you don't look professional, you don't look like a real business, and so they're likely not even going to reply to you. So instead, you need to get a domain, buy a domain that matches your LLC name. So for example, TK Distribution is the LLC name. Get a domain that says tkdistribution.com or .co or something like that. Okay, and so then you're going to connect your new domain to a business Gmail account. So that way it looks like this: thomas@tkdistribution.com. Now, when they see the email in their email inbox, it actually looks like you're a legitimate business, and you know how to present yourself properly, and you look legit. So they're going to take their time out of the day, open the email, read it, see you have a good script, and what you said is good. You're a retail and distribution business, not an Amazon seller. So now they're most likely 9 times out of 10 going to reply to you and try and work with you to open up a wholesale account. Okay. And last thing, when it comes out to opening and reaching out for wholesale accounts, you're going to want to use your prep center address that we already partnered with, in the prior parts of this video, because that's a pro tip. When you're using your prep center commercial address, and they search, most suppliers are going to search the address you provide them when you're applying to work with them. They could see if you have an actual legitimate warehouse or actual business operation. So instead of using your house or LLC address, use your prep center's address, and you will, see a lot better results that way. Okay, so now that you have wholesale accounts open and they're sending you their, product catalogs with thousands of products on it, now you're going to get this tool called Smart Scout, right? And so you're going to go down to the UPC scanner, click start a new scan, upload that said catalog that this wholesale distributor provided you. And then once you upload the catalog, Smart Scout will then scan all the UPCs on this catalog and compare it all to the Amazon API and data on Amazon. And then from here, you're going to see all the results here, right? And so this is how we quickly find potential winning products and whatnot. So we can see right here, there's a total of 4,200 products on this product catalog. That's way too much for us to go through, one by one on our own. So now what we're going to do is filter it out. So we're going to start with net profit, minimum of $2 net profit. Okay, now we're going to go to ROI, minimum of 10% ROI, because you can always negotiate. And then we're going to also do a max ROI of about, realistically, 80%, right? Because anything more than 80% is typically, too good to be true and not going to be good. And so we could quickly see that, the number went from 4,200 products down to 12, right? And now the next thing would be rank. So this is BSR or sales rank. So best sellers rank is what BSR means. And so Amazon has a BSR for every product on Amazon for the most part. And obviously the closer that rank is to number one means it's number one in that category. So it sells the most out of any other product in that category on Amazon. So you want to do a minimum of 1, because if they don't have a sales rank, it's not going to be good. And then a max of 100,000. So we went from 4,200 products on this catalog to a total of 4 potential winning products, okay? And so from here, what you would do is just click on each UPC, and you're gonna click on each UPC, you're gonna see the product cost of $4, and then you're gonna go here, plug in your product cost right here of $4, and we could see, what's it called? Like all the data right here. And so now the tools you're gonna need for when doing product research is AZ Insight. Get this, I believe this is about $20 a month. You're gonna need AMW Scope, another one. This is a good one. This is another 20 bucks a month. And then Keepa is very important. This is another 20 bucks a month. But these are all, except for really AMW Scope, it's not a necessity, but it's still, recommended to get it. But basically AZ Insight, we could see estimated monthly sales and revenue on the total listing. And then this is that BSR we were talking about earlier of how fast a product typically sells in this category. And then yeah, that's a lot of information right here. And what I usually use this for is just the profit calculator and sales estimator. And so we can see it sells pretty good, 300 units a month. We can also come down to Amazon's estimate, 200 bought in the past month, which is good. And then now we're coming down to the Keep It chart. This top chart here is price action over the last 3 months, right? So we could see, by a month, a week, a day, a year, and all time since the listing has been on Amazon, right? So about 3,200 days. But I only really look at 3 months for the most part, unless I'm looking for seasonal trends. In that case, I'll click a year. But 3 months is the most important, right? And so basically what we're looking for on this top chart, we can see Amazon is on the listing at all times. We could see Amazon because it's this orange hue filling up right here. And when Amazon is not on the listing, it looks like this. There's no orange hue right here, right? You can only see when Amazon hops on the listing because of the orange hue. So go back to the 3 month chart. But just because Amazon is on the listing doesn't mean they're constantly winning the buy box, because the buy box is right here. Basically 90% of all sales on Amazon come through this buy box. And we could see who it's shipped from and sold by. So it's currently Amazon is winning the buy box, but we could see 6 other sellers are competing for this buy box to win the sales. And so we could see the statistics of it a little bit right here, but it's safe to say Amazon is not dominating, because this this pink or fuchsia line right here indicates who is winning the buy box at which time. And we can see right here, buy box 2258, it's being fulfilled by FBA, fulfilled by Amazon by this seller BCSG. Okay, and we could sell it moves to BV Supply, BC again. We could see best brand supply right here is FBM, best brand supply HP. We could see all the different rotation through the buy box. So this is a decent listing to get on, because Amazon is not dominating the buy box at all. So that's good. And then this middle chart is the BSR over the last 3 months and the monthly sold. So we can see this yellow line shows the monthly sold of 200. And then, more so towards the end of the 3 months was 300 monthly sold, right? So it's safe to say it's between 200 to 300 in monthly sales every single month. Now, this bottom chart right here indicates the new offer count, which means how many sellers are actively on the listing at any given point. So for the most part, you always want to make sure that a listing has more than 3, on average, more than 3 new offers at any given point. Because if it's less than 3, it's typically, a brand direct or private label listing, which the brand's on the listing directly, or Amazon is dominating completely the listing with the brand, or just Amazon's on it by itself, or they have the brand's exclusive, third-party partner on the listing, which is also basically the same thing as brand direct, because they have the exclusive rights to distribute and can be the only seller on their e-commerce listings and platforms, right? So this is all good signs in the keeper chart. Sells good. Amazon's not dominating the buy box. It's being rotated evenly and fairly. More than 3, new offers at any given point. So this is all good, right? And so we could also see AMW scope. This is where they come into play with this brand resellability score or product resellability score. And so 0 obviously being horrible, never touch this product. 10 being this is the best product in the world. If you could source it profitably, buy it and sell it, okay? And so I really wouldn't go below anything than a 7. The only warning here is some sellers have very high inventory. And so we could scroll down and see stock. So Amazon has 1,000 units. Champion Values has 1,000 units, which obviously is a lot for a product that only sells about 200, 300 times a month. But it's not the end of the world, because we could clearly see right here, buy box win split, which is again winning this buy box, aka winning the sales. Last 30 days, Amazon, or this seller who's not currently on the listing, has won 76% of the time. Amazon has only won 11% of the time. And then BV supply, or best brand supply, is at 7%, another one's at 5%. And then you could, do more research here. We could see this buy box win split is very favorable. And so that means that you as a third party good seller can come onto the listing and win the buy box, aka winning sales with no issue, right? And so now we want to check if we were to buy this product, how many we could realistically sell within a 30-day time frame, right? And so it currently says 0 FBA offers within 3% of the lowest FBA price, which is typically the buy box price right here. So no one is currently competitive with this price, but let's double check, because software obviously makes mistakes. So business price is a little bit different, because business price is not what the usual price is. So this is kind of messing up the things a little bit, but we can assume that if AZ Insight is saying no one's within 3% of this 27.92, then no one's within it. So we could see 34, 34, 28, and I'm assuming these two, which are FBM, so that's a disadvantage because they don't have prime shipping, aren't winning the buy box either, and their price is going to be higher than $18.29 to a normal customer. I'm just a business customer, so it's different. But that means that realistically, let's just count us. Let's just be safe. Say there's Amazon and then one other competitive third-party seller, and then us coming onto the listing. So that makes 3 sellers. So 300 divided by 3 is 100 sales per month that you could realistically and safely get in a 30-day time span. So you should buy 100 units of this product, okay? So that's that. When it comes to actually getting ungated for a product, because a lot of people struggle with getting ungated and have issues with getting ungated, right? So when you go to actually apply to sell a product as a new seller, you're going to be gated and not approved to sell it, right? And so for this example, I probably assume that it's going to be, anywhere from 10 units to, I think the max is 400 units that Amazon requires you to buy on a, brand invoice, like a brand direct invoice, or an authorized distributor of the brand invoice. So basically, when we're doing wholesale and brand direct, it's a lot easier to get ungated. It's very simple to get ungated. All you have to do is buy from the brand directly or their authorized distributor, and then Amazon literally tells you how many units you need to buy of this product to get ungated if you're buying from those 2 sources. So it's very simple. Once you buy the product from the distributor, they're going to provide you that invoice. All you have to do is make sure that your company information, like your company name and address, matches up perfectly letter by letter to your Amazon account, and then you'll be all set and good to go to get ungated. Once the shipment arrives to the prep center, you're going to have the invoice by then, and then you could literally just apply through the Seller Central portal, and you'll get ungated, right? And so then you'll be able to have your prep center make the shipment to FBA, send it into FBA, and then there's going to be no issues from there, right? As long as you're buying everything properly, like I've been showing here, okay? So this is an example of a good winning product, okay? And then we could go through another example right here. Another one, we could see right away, this is a 7 out of 10 product score, which likely means this will be a good product for us to sell if we can find it profitably. Okay, there was no warnings there. Check Keepa chart. Very stable Keepa chart and price action over the last 3 months. Oh, one thing I forgot to note, you always want to make sure that at the lowest price in the last 3 months, you will still be profitable. So in this case, it looks like it's like $22.48, right? And so if it's $22.48 and we're buying at $4 cost per unit, we're still incredibly profitable. So we have no issues here, but you always want to make sure that within, the last 3 months at the lowest price, you will still be at least break even or profitable, just in case, the listing tanks for whatever reason, okay? And then you also want to make sure there's no IP complaints or anything like that on the listing. So you can find that right here on AZ Insight. This will highlight if there is a IP complaint, but there's no IP complaint here, so that's good. And IP means intellectual property complaint. So that's, when the brand, sends you an IP complaint, basically trying to kick you off the listing because they don't want you taking their sales, right? And so again, very stable. Keep a chart here. Great. Monthly sold between 100 to 200, great. And then new offer count is, well over the 3 mark at any given point, which is great, okay? So as long as we can now source this at a profitable enough cost, there's no reason to not buy it. And then again, you can do your math. There's only one competitive seller, so now do 158 or 200. So Amazon says 200. Amazon's more accurate probably because it's their own platform. So 200 divided by 2 sellers, so 100 units a month again. And so this is another good one that if you can find profitably, you should sell. Let me try and find an example of a product that you should not sell. Okay, so we'll go to right here, Alani No. Right away we see IP alert. This is another Chrome extension you could get if you want, but AZ Insight does the same thing. So IP alert, bad, and then AZ Insight verifies IP alert again, but it also reports in 2021. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, but for the most part, it's bad. But we can see right here, ships from and sold by Amazon.com, and we can see AMW Scope says a product score 1 out of 10, which is horrible. And the red flags is buy box is dominated by Amazon. We can see in the last 30 days, Amazon won 97% of it, which is pretty bad. 90 days, 97% again. So again, bad. And then if we scroll down to the Keep It chart, we see new offer count right away is only really at 1, and then it comes up to 2 at some points, but they come down really quickly, either due to IP complaints or they just sold out. But it looks like the only other seller is Alani No, which right here we can see at the top chart, it says $19.99 Alani No, which is the brand directly. So it's either Amazon or the brand directly on this listing, which is both a no-go, and this is everything you want to avoid on a listing. It does incredible, sales-wise, revenue-wise. You can't sell it. You're gonna have so many account issues with this because obviously they don't want third-party sellers on this listing, right? And so that's basically, an example of a good product and how to do proper product research, and a bad product, and what verifies a bad product, right? And so yeah. Okay, so now moving on to the next part in the process, which is placing your first actual wholesale purchase order. So now that we've found a potential winning product, obviously not this one, but one of the prior ones we went over. Now that we actually found a potential winning product for us to go ahead and buy, like this snake stopper, now all you have to do is it depends on the distributor. Every distributor is a little bit different, so obviously when you're talking to them, it's going to be common sense how to do this because they tell you how the order process works. But basically it's either going to be, they provide you with a purchase order, template, where you fill in, you want this SKU, this UPC, this many units, that's the price that you're gonna get it for, this is where you want it shipped, that kind of basic stuff, right? And so they're either gonna provide you that up front, and then whenever it comes down to making a purchase order, you fill that out with the products that you want, and then email it to your sales rep, and that's gonna put it through. You're gonna pay for the most part via wire or ACH. Sometimes they accept credit cards, but that's dependent on each distributor again. But also sometimes they won't have, a purchase order template for you to use necessarily. And so you'll just have to use email. And so that's totally fine as well. Just, email or text your sales rep that you're working with and say, hey, looking to put an order together. I want, this SKU, this UPC at this many units, this is the price, blah, blah, blah. Give them those 3 pieces of information, and then email them. They're gonna get back to you whether or not the product's in stock, if they have that much quantity, blah, blah, blah. And at that point is when you can kind of negotiate a little bit. Obviously, you have to build up a relationship to get to a point where you can actually, get a lot better pricing than you originally will. At the start, this is a long-term game at the end of the day, but at the start, they have no reason to give you any sort of discount or wiggle room on pricing because you haven't shown them any value. You haven't made them money. You haven't given them a sell or a purchase order to take you seriously enough to do that. So sometimes you just got to play the game and get to the point of you're only making 5-10% ROI on your first order, but it gets your foot in the door, builds that relationship further, right? And so if you're helping them out, you're making them money, obviously they're going to want to reciprocate, give you better pricing. That way, you guys both can make more money together, right? So that's how you have to look at this. It's not going to be get rich quick overnight, but that's how simple it is to put your first wholesale order together. It's either going to be through that purchase order template or just directly over email, right? And so one small negotiation tip I'll give you when trying to negotiate with a supplier is put it like this. Say you want to buy this Alani Nu pre-workout, which never buy Alani Nu, but for example, you want to buy this pre-workout, okay? Now, the target price or their base wholesale cost is $20, right? And so you'll say, hey, I want this product, but the price at $20, that normal wholesale cost, I'll only buy 50 units, right? But if we could get the price down to $18 per unit, I'll be able to buy 200 units. And so that kind of gives them the incentive of, okay, well, if we could get them a little better pricing, they'll be able to buy a lot more, right? And so that'll give them some motivation to try and do better pricing wise for you. That way they can obviously make more money on their end as well. So that's a small pro tip to go ahead and use, but obviously the best way is just to build that relationship out further, be a genuine person and take interest in their life outside of work, outside of business, and that the fruits of that will show in the long term, right? So that's how simple it is to get your purchase order done. Now, moving on from there is basically, repricing. And so what's going to happen, once you place that first purchase order with your wholesaler or supplier, they're going to ship it to your prep center, right? So we found the prep center already right here. And so once it ships to your prep center, then obviously that's when you communicate with your prep center or your warehouse manager, whoever you communicate with that works at the prep center. And so they're going to receive the inventory from the shipment. They're going to, you're going to provide your prep center the invoice saying, I bought these many SKUs, this many UPCs, this is how many units of each one I bought. And then they're going to, do their double check, look for discrepancies, make sure that there's no missing units or anything like that. And then assuming everything is all there and all good to go, then depending on your prep center, they will either go in your Amazon seller account and make the shipment for you, or you will just make the shipment on your own, which is very simple for your FBA shipment. You just go into Seller Central and make an FBA shipment. You can literally search any video on YouTube to do that. It's stupid simple. So go ahead, once you make the FBA shipment, they're gonna prep all the inventory specifically to how Amazon requires it to be to go into their FBA program and fulfillment centers. And then once your prep center ships it off to Amazon FBA, it's gonna take a couple of weeks, probably like 2 weeks for everything to check in and be ready for your inventory to actually be fully checked in to sell and be Prime eligible on Amazon to be sold. And that's where, the selling part comes into play, which is stupid simple. All you have to do is go to goaura.com. This is a repricer, and they have an AI-powered repricer. You can try it for completely free, 14-day free trial. Basically, the strategy is called Maven AI, right? And so once you put in your buy cost and you turn on Maven AI, basically what's going to happen is you're going to automatically, based on this repricer and their AI strategy, they're going to be working I believe it's every 5 to 10 seconds to win this buy box as much as possible and as profitable as possible. So obviously when you're going up against 6 other sellers, 20 other sellers, however much it is, Aura's job is to make sure you're in the buy box as much as possible, winning as much profitable sales as possible, okay? And so, it's very simple to do that. When you sign up with Aura, you can literally chat with their seller or their team on Aura. These two people, I know Finn personally, and all you have to do is go to the messages and, tell them, hey, I'm a new Amazon seller. I do wholesale. Can you set me up the 3 repricing strategies, okay? And so those are the 3 core strategies. They'll set it up all for you. That's why I'm not giving you a tutorial on it, because they'll literally do it for you. You just go in, you start up your free trial, go here, go to the messages, ask, not the AI agent, but when they're online, it'll show you a little green dot that they're online. And then you literally look at our 3 core strategies. And then you can see it right here. And then they'll be able to do it all for you if you ask them to, okay? And so it's very simple. It'll be all set up and done by AI basically, and you won't really ever have to do anything. That's the most simple part of the business. And so that's why I said earlier, you make your money in the buying process, not the selling process, because once you did all the proper product research beforehand, and then you saw it's going to be a good winning product, and then you bought it, getting it shipped to your prep center, you don't have to do any work. Prep Center is going to do it all for you. They're going to ship it to Amazon FBA. Then Aura is going to do all the work for you to sell the product, and then it's basically done from there. That's the whole FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. They're going to ship it all to the end customer and do all the customer service on your behalf as well. So that's how stupid simple this is, right? And so that's it for this part. All right, so now we're on step number 9, which is scaling and reinvestment. And here's where all the magic happens: reinvesting and compounding. When you're starting out, reinvest 90 to 100% of all your profits back into inventory. So let me break down the math a little bit. If you have a $2,000 order and make 30% every 30 days, after 12 months of reinvesting profits, you'll have over $46,000 in cash in the bank just from that original $2,000 principal and reinvesting profits every 30 days. Okay, that's incredible. So that's the power of compounding in this business. And as you scale, all you need to focus on is building relationships with your suppliers for better pricing, adding more profitable SKUs to your catalog, finding new suppliers and distributors, and negotiating better terms and payment options. It's very simple. So let's say once you're doing $5,000 plus per month, you can start implementing more so advanced strategies. Whereas, you're doing brand direct sourcing. So instead of going through distributors, you reach out to brands directly and use Smart Scout to find wholesale friendly brands, contact them using the same exact script that I already provided earlier. If you want, a more direct video about brand direct sourcing, I already have a video posted on my YouTube channel, so go watch that. But, that's a very simple way for more advanced strategies when growing. And so as you grow, you're going to need more capital for inventory. So options to source new capital is going to be more so business credit cards with 0% intro offers. So basically 0% APR, no interest for the first 12 months. There's a lot of business credit cards that will do that. So that's very powerful because then you're basically utilizing free money to scale and grow your business. There's lines of credit, working capital loans, investor partnerships. You could get very creative to get more capital once you start having better relationships and better and more product opportunities for your business, right? Now we're gonna go into case studies. Okay, so let me share 2 real examples from my mentorship clients to show you how this actually works. So first, Miguel came to me as a complete beginner who had never sold anything on Amazon before, and within 2 months of implementing this exact system, he hit $90,000 in revenue. What made Miguel successful was his consistency. He reached out to 5 new suppliers every single day. He reinvested every penny of profit back into inventory, and he followed this system exactly as I taught him. Now, Michael, on the other hand, was different. He had tried other Amazon business models before, but never found real success. In his first month using my wholesale system, he generated $15,000 in revenue. Michael's keys was focusing on brand direct relationships instead of just working with distributors. He reached out directly to smaller brands and built more so personalized relationships with the brands directly. So the difference between them and people who fail is they treated this like a real business, not a get rich quick scheme. Now, let me save you from costly mistakes I made when I was first starting out. Mistake number 1 was, say, working with bad suppliers, for example. I lost almost $325,000 to a scam supplement supplier, right? And so always verifying suppliers by checking their addresses, calling the brands they claim to represent, and starting with small test orders will definitely help save you from this mistake. Mistake number 2 is not having enough capital. So I wouldn't start this business with $500. You need at least $3,000 to place meaningful test orders. If you don't have that, save up your first couple thousand or consider getting a business credit card, right? Mistake number 3 is going too deep too fast. Don't put all your money into one product. Spread your risk across multiple SKUs and suppliers. Mistake number 4 is ignoring relationships. This business is all about relationships with suppliers. Take care of your sales reps, pay invoices on time, communicate with them professionally. These relationships will make or break your business. Literally, it's very real. Mistake number 5 is not reinvesting profits. The temptation it takes to take profits out of the business early, don't do it. Reinvest everything for the first 6 to 12 months to build real momentum. So look, the information in this free course genuinely has the power to completely change your life if you implement it correctly. I've given you the exact same system that's made me over $7 million in sales and helped clients like Michael and Miguel achieve incredible results in their first few months. At this point, you have 2 options. Option number 1 being try and implement all of this yourself, spending the time, money, and dealing with headaches of figuring everything out step by step, making all the mistakes I made, and potentially losing thousands of dollars on bad suppliers or products. Or option number 2, get help from someone who's done this hundreds of times with a proven system that has solved all your problems you'll inevitably face, so you could get this right the first time. And if we're being honest, if you're not already making 10K per month with Amazon Wholesale, you probably need help. That's why I want you to click the first link in the description to learn more about working with me directly one-on-one. This is for you if you want to avoid doing all this yourself and want someone who's actually built what you're trying to build to guide you through the process. Eliminate the trial and error. So I literally eliminate all your trial and error process, make sure you don't make any costly mistakes, and accelerate your full path to success by giving you direct access to my suppliers, my scripts, my strategies, everything. But here's the thing, this is only for serious people who have capital to invest properly into this business and are committed to putting in the work. If you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme or don't have at least $5,000 to invest into inventory, this isn't for you. So if you're serious about building a real Amazon business that can give you the time and financial freedom that you're looking for, click the first link in the description, fill out the application, and if you qualify, we'll hop on a call to see if you're a good fit to work together. If not, all good. I just gave you a completely free blueprint and course on literally everything. So make sure you like this video so you can easily find it again when you're implementing everything. Subscribe to my channel for more free content on Amazon Wholesale, and I'll see you in the next video.